I'm going to be making some ribs in my crock pot with some homemade barbecue sauce. I'm actually trying out for the first time too, one of those crock pot liners. I'm going to see how that works. And basically for the ribs, I start out and put them in here. And I'm going to season them with like some Mrs. Dash and some garlic. And then I'm going to simmer them for a few hours. And then we'll make that sauce. Put on there and then let it simmer for another hour. So I'm going to make this, it's a low carb barbecue sauce. I had tried this out several times. It's amazing for the ribs. And I'm going to have to do a double batch because I need a lot of sauce. But the recipe calls for 2 cans of tomato paste, which I already got in there. And then 2 cloves of garlic. But I usually use the minced up stuff. So use that in there. Then you're going to need, it's a 1/4 cup of ketchup for just one batch, but I'm doubling it, so I'm using a 1/2 cup. And you want to use the low carb ketchup. The only brand that I have ever found that carries it is Heinz. Then the recipe calls for mustard, but I'm going to use a little bit of a spicier mustard. A little squeeze in there. I like a little kick in my barbecue sauce. Then you're going to need 2 tablespoons of cloves, or 1 if you're just making a regular batch. And then you're going to need some Worcestershire sauce. Yet again, 2 tablespoons of that. A small onion. And you are going to need, well, you don't have to have it, but I like a little bit of sea salt. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that. And it calls to fry up and cook bacon and put it in there. But I'm going to use the Oscar Mayer. It actually gives it a lot of flavor. And now the last part you do is you add the sweetener. And what do you think you have to use? That's right, Diet Pepsi. I thought that was kind of weird when I first made this, but it actually sweetens it without adding all the carbs, and it's really, really good. So you want to use a cup or 2, depending on if you're making a batch or 2 batches or how many batches. Mix it all together. It is actually very, very, very good. I was very surprised. It tastes way better than store-bought barbecue sauce. And it's actually very, very cheap to make. And then when the ribs are done, I'll just pour this right over them and let them marinate. And voila. I'll show you when it's about to be done. So now that my ribs are done actually cooking a little bit, I threw the sauce in it, and then I'm going to let it simmer for another hour in the crock pot. So delicious.